Hello and welcome to episode 33 of the Roma Revolution. I'm Ben, and coming up on today's episode we have two season-defining games. One against Bayern Munich in the Champions League and the second against AC Milan in Serie A. And the reason that they are season-defining is because of a recent run of results. We have suffered our first defeat in Serie A of the season, courtesy of an ex-Roma man, Dejan Kulusevski. Juventus beat us 1-0 in our last game actually before this episode. 3 wins came before that though, one in the Derby della Capitale against Lazio, a really impressive 2-0 away win over Bayern Munich, and a defeat against Udinese in Serie A. We did, however, lose our other Champions League game that we've played in between the episodes to PSV, and that means this group is extremely tight and we potentially need to be picking up all 3 points against Bayern Munich today. Serie A looks a little bit like this. We are now only 1 point clear of AC Milan after that Juventus defeat. We obviously play them today, so a win there could well be massive. A further 3 points then ahead to Bologna and another 2 to Juventus. So it is tight at the top, but if we can beat Milan today, we may just start to draw a little bit clear. The team then for the Bayern Munich game is looking a little bit like this. We've got loads of injuries, so it has been a bit of a struggle, but Vulca Falanes has been ever present in goal. We've then got Juan Miranda, Upamecano, Basia and Florenzi at the back. Tonali at the base of midfield, in behind Diawara, Camavinga and Pellegrini. Zaniolo kept his spot in behind Kaio George up front. And it's not been the greatest run of games, but hopefully we can turn things round today. Goals haven't been flowing like they were. We've slightly tweaked the tactic to try and be more possession based, because I felt we were just being dominated by teams, and especially going into games like this against Bayern and also Milan, if we can have more of the ball, it should do our chances better of winning the game. A pretty solid team then for Bayern. Lots of familiar faces for them. Lewandowski, Coutinho, Alaba, Neuer, Hernandez, Kimmich, with a few new faces chucked in there as well. Thiago and Goretzka still pairing up in midfield. So it is a tough team that we're going to have to break down, but fingers crossed we can do so. Let's go out there and show the pundits why they've been so positive about us in recent weeks. As always, we've got faith in the boys. The assistant is off to the tunnel, and here we go. As you can see, going into today, Roma, Bayern Munich and PSV all sharing 6 points in the group, having both won 2 games, so this could be massive. And an early strike for Robert Lewandowski makes our task even bigger. It's a really good ball in from the right. I think it was Thiago. Lewandowski unmarked at the back post, nods home. And it is Bayern Munich 1, Roma 0 after 8 minutes. And we really need to start getting in this game before it gets embarrassing, because Coutinho's in and it's 2 already. And we've come to Bayern Munich. Olympico and Bayern Munich have come to us and have really put out a performance in the first 10 minutes which may have already killed the game. It's an awful start for Roma. PSV and Shakhtar are drawing, and this could put some massive weight on our last 2 games in the group stage. And if we're not going to come back from here, we could be on one of those dips in form again. But this year, it might be slightly earlier than January. I said it was a season-defining episode. And what a way to start with 2 goals within the first 10 minutes. It's levelled itself off since then, and we have a chance. Pellegrini Basia heads over in what was an unmarked free header. He should have scored. And is this where we start to slip and things maybe not go as well as we'd hoped in this season? We're going to ask... Well, we're going to watch this highlight first. Thiago, Upamecano does well. Zaniolo clears as far as George. Can we counter? Coutinho does well to get in there. We got Kimmich on the right-hand side. Back to Alaba. Aya, the ex-Celtic man. Hernandez out to Coutinho on the left, who's caused us all sorts of problems early on. Alaba, Lewandowski, they're popping it around beautifully. It's come to Kimmich in acres of space on the right. It's Coutinho at the back. It's 3-0 Bayern. Game, set, match. And we are looking really quite poor. And this is not looking good for what is a really important couple of games. Kimmich in loads of space. Miranda nowhere to be seen. Coutinho slots home. We've gone attacking. But I think we're going to have to do far more than that if we're ever going to get anywhere near beating or even getting a point from Bayern in this game. As half-time approaches, it is Bayern Munich 3, Roma 0. It's been fairly even, but Bayern have taken their chances when they've come. We're going to get extremely aggressive. It's been really, really disappointing. And bar a miracle in the second half, we go into the AC Milan game, a massive game at the top of the table after 2 really disappointing defeats. But a chance for us to grab one back. Pellegrini, it's not even beaten Lewandowski at the front post. It's a poor ball, but Basia is first to it. He finds Zaniolo, who finds Pellegrini. Tonali, Camavinga, knocking it about nicely. Basia, Camavinga. He's got to get rid of it before he's lost it, and Miranda has got it on the left. Diawara on the edge of the area. Camavinga, Zaniolo's in. He shoots. It's a poor first effort, but the second effort is in. Just after half-time, Nicolo Zaniolo gives us a slim hope in the game. Diawara knocks it to Camavinga, a lovely ball in. A good verse save from Neuer, but Zaniolo reacts quickest. And it is now 3-1. Is there going to be one of those heroic Champions League moments that we've seen in the series today? There needs to be. But with half an hour to go, we have a chance, a very slim chance, but a point will do. PSV beating Shakhtar, so we really need to be getting ourselves back in this game. And therefore, we're going to ring a couple of changes. Florenzi having an awful game on the right. Bua can come on for him. That's an easy, straight swap. And we're also going to get Kaio George off, who seems to have lost his boots recently. Patrick Schick, who's not been doing much better, but we can give him a go in there as well. Pellegrini, we're going to have him of a bit more attacking in his Mazzala role. We've got nothing to lose. We're already 2 down, so we're going to go very attacking as well. And can we turn around the 2-goal deficit? We're going to demand some more. We've not been bad in this second half. The first half was awful. We have turned it round, but it is seeming like Bayern are just easily setting up shop against us. But have we a chance here? Basia has it deep. He finds Camavinga, who finds Tonali, who finds Bua, surging across the area. Miranda, it fell to Schick, I think, and he's headed it wide in what should have been an easy chance, unmarked, 6 yards out at the most. And Patrick Schick had a chance to bury it in the bottom corner, and he was not able to do so. Miranda's picked up another knock, more injuries that we don't need. Sergio Ramos is going to come on that left-hand side, and he'll switch actually with Bua if we can. Yeah, we can. There we go. Bua's going to switch with Ramos just like so. We're going to go a bit more higher tempo at this stage as well, just to see if we can be a little bit more direct in our approach. It's been a really poor game, one that's actually quite disappointing after our really good performance against them away from home. And there is a corner for them. Thiago swings it in. Fariñez saves well from the header at the back post. Are we going to be able to build something from deep? Basia, Pellegrini, Diawara with loads of room, and Zaniolo ahead of him, who doesn't quite find space, but he finds Diawara again. He has a pop. It's absolutely horrific, and that is probably going to be that. That would have been our chance to score and then potentially go on and grab that equaliser. But with 5 minutes to go, it is looking very, very likely that we are going to have to beat Shakhtar and PSV and hope that results do not go our way, because it's Bayern 3, Roma 1. It's finished that way. A little bit of a better second half, but things really need to improve. Otherwise, our season is potentially going to go down the drain. And we've got that massive Milan game up next, which I'll see you for in a second. Here we go then, the top of the table clash. It is us versus AC Milan. A win would take us 4 points clear of them. A loss would drop us down to second. Before the Juventus loss, we were 25 games unbeaten. Surely we can't lose 2 in a row. Some changes for this one then. We've got a back 4 with Florenzi, Basia, Upamecano and young Singolani. Miranda was injured in the last game. Donati still out with an injury, so he slots in there. Mancini, who's back from suspension, he's going to play in the anchorman role, with Camavinga moving forward into that playmaking role in the centre of midfield. He's partnered by Diawara and Zaniolo, and Thiago Almada therefore slots in where Zaniolo was, in behind Kaio George up front. We're also going back to good old tries and tested the gegenpressing style we were starting with at the start of the season, to see if that can just upturn the last couple of poor results. Milan have been playing well themselves. They are undefeated in the league, so if they did lose to us, we would be their first loss of the season. But this is the sort of game that if we are going to go on and win this title, we do need to be taking the points from. We did lose to them last time, so it gave us a perfect excuse to do the Avenge team talk. The assistants off to the tunnel and a big away game. Can we get one over on them? Obviously, the loss we had was in the Super Cup final on penalties after a Paredes sending off early on in the half. I feel like it was a game we probably would have won if the squads were equal. So hopefully we can take that confidence into the game today, and we have an early throw. Diawara, Upamecano, he's got to get rid of it before he's beaten to it, and luckily he has. It's back with Fariñez, who finds Camavinga in the middle. Diawara looks for Florenzi, but it's an awful pass, and there's a chance for AC Milan to build from the back. Romagnoli, Camavinga, can he get there? He can. Florenzi beaten to it by Belotti, who sends David on his way. David versus Fariñez, 1-0 Milan. The ball run is seemingly continuing. Jonathan David from a great assist from Belotti. Florenzi on this right-hand side just doesn't get rid of the ball quick enough. One-on-one with Fariñez, who makes no real effort to save the ball. It's Milan 1, Roma 0, and it looks like this poor run might well be continuing in what is a really big slump at an awful time after a really solid start to the season. But we have a highlight straight after the goal, and it's Mancini and Basia knocking it about together at the back. Back to Fariñez again, who's pressed, looks for Singolani on this left-hand side in his first Roma start, who does well. Diawara finds George. It's saved by Donnarumma, and that potentially is the difference between the two sides. David slots his away, George can't quite, and are we just missing that really big threat up front that could score us all the goals and send us flying high at the top of the table? We've seen it against Sampdoria already on the series. We create plenty of chances, but when they sometimes fall, we can't quite finish them. We've done well to see off that danger though, but it's only as far as Kamara and Romagnoli at the back. Calabria, Kessie, who's really being a midfield orchestrator. It's Calabria on this right again. They've worked a really good area. Fariñez saves this time, and we really need to pick up our performance if we're going to grab anything from the game, and it's not looking likely at the moment because we've not been good enough. We're going to ask for some creativity. We really need to start taking some of these chances that we're getting, because at the moment we fall 2 points behind Milan, but more importantly we start to slip into more of a battle for this title race. And approaching half-time, it is still Milan 1, Roma 0. We've not seen much of the second half of this first half, and it looks like that is what it's going to be going into half-time. And it calls for more aggression because we're not playing well enough at all, and we really need to turn this round in the second half if we're going to have any chance of bringing anything away from this game. We're going to go attacking. We've got to go at them. We're going to ask for some passion as well. George having an awful game. Singolani, I can let him off. He's young. It's his first start. He's only in as a really late backup. So he's struggling, but I would expect that. Caio Jorge, however, we expect much more from him. Upamecano all the way back to Fariñez again. Can we go forward this time? Basia, Mancini finds Florenzi with a great ball. Can he cut inside? He finds Zaniolo in this midfield. He finds Singolani. Can he put a good ball across? He has. He's found George. And the two players I singled out a minute ago have just orchestrated the equaliser for Roma. Singolani with a great assist, his first in a Roma shirt. And he finds Caio Jorge in splendid isolation at the front post, and it's Roma 1, Milan 1 with just over half an hour to go. We're going to drop back to positive as there is a highlight immediately after the goal. Let's not throw it away straight away. Let's see if we can go on and push for a winner. It's with Theo Hernandez on this left-hand side for AC Milan. William in the middle. Romagnoli. Back to Theo Hernandez again. They're knocking it about between them, but we are trying to press and win it off them. Donnarumma at the back. Can we beat Castillejo to it? We can't. And David is in. The goal scorer in the first half finds Paqueta at the back post. And luckily for us, Paqueta only heads over the bar. And it might be time just for a little bit of a tactical tweak. Camavinga's going to drop back into this role. Mancini not having the best of games. Pellegrini, who wasn't fit enough to start, he can certainly come on now though, and we can see if he can make a difference. That's the only change we're going to make at the moment, is it? No, Florenzi's going to come off for Bua as well. He's having a bit of a struggle on that right hand side, so he'll come off. Bua can come on, and with half an hour to go, we'll ask for some creativity and see if we can go and grab a winner. We've got a chance. Diawara, Singalani finds George again, who's beaten to it, but Almada gathers well on the edge of the area. Camavinga, Pellegrini, new onto the field. Zaniolo, Pellegrini, Camavinga. We go all the way back to Farines in what has been a pretty impressive press there from Milan. That was easy for you to say, I know. George is in. Can he score? He can't. It's another example of a chance that goes a-begging. Donnarumma does do well to save, but that was a huge opportunity for us to take the lead. Obviously, we do go, or remain top rather, with this draw. But if we can find a goal in the last 20 minutes or so, it would be a bonus. We're going to go attacking in a search for that goal. We're going to ask for some creativity as well, but the chance seems like it's falling to Milan, and it is. It's Boubacar Kamara who heads into the bottom corner. Milan 2, Roma 0 at Roma 1. That might well be game over, and that might well be our third loss in a row in all competitions. And what a poor run of form we're on, and we need something here that's going to just swing it in our favour. And I don't feel like we've got that on the bench. Tonali's going to come on for Diawara just to see if that makes a little bit of a difference. We'll also have Zaniolo going up to play with his mate Almada in behind the striker. He can be a bit more of a shadow striker on attack. We're going to go very attacking as well and just see if we can go and grab what would be a really key equaliser at this stage. We're going to demand more. We haven't been good enough. We haven't been good enough for the last 3 games. And I think maybe that early run in the season might have been a little bit of luck. George does well to hold up the ball though, and Bua surges inside with men ahead of him, but he doesn't get rid of it quick enough, and there's a chance for Milan to break. They search for Belotti, but Upamecano does well to see it out, and now Singalani just hoofs it forward, but Almada picks it up. George with a chance, and it's another example of a goal that should be in the back of the net, but Donnarumma saves again, and that could well be the difference this year between us lifting this Serie A title and us falling short once again. Pellegrini is offside, and that could have been massive with just over 8 minutes to go. But Kaio George is just not looking like the man we need in front of goal. Patrick Schick isn't either, and we may have a real problem on our hands as we approach injury time. It looks like AC Milan are going to the top of the league in what has been a dreadful run of results for Roma. Milan 2, Roma 1. We're going on one of those runs again, and disappointingly, it's after such a positive start to the season. We're going to get aggressive again. We need this run of form to really turn round. Otherwise, we may well be left behind in this title race. Milan unbeaten to start the season, 30 points in 12 games. It's going to take a lot to stop them, and it looked like we were the team to be able to do it, but at the moment, we're really not playing well enough to be able to do so. Looking forward to next time then. We'll be back very soon for the big Champions League game against PSV. And that will be an episode on its own due to the winter break thereafter. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode despite the results. And if you have, please leave a like down below for me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new or not yet subscribed. And thank you all for coming along and watching.